It seems very apparent to me and also strange considering that it doesn't seem to impact other people this way. The fact that everybody started talking about the Orlando Massacre and instantly jumped in on ISIS, instantly jumped in on hate crimes, instantly rekindled a long, stupid talk about gun control. Did nobody in the course of any of these discussions stop to say, we've got a few 100,000 people that are trained and educated and paid by the United States government to protect our countrymen and our native land by law and decree and oath to the umpteenth degree, and many more 100,000 that serve in reserve and here at home and as part of national guards for each state. And they're not in the streets. They're not in major cities. They're not even in towns. In uniform, present to assist as part of the civic machine, despite their massive cost. And all the things, not just here at home in the country, but in the world, that are ignored because of the cost which we must generate and continue to feed by actions taken across the sea in other lands against other cultures of people on a national level, and must continue to give those people a reason, no matter how grim or highly discussed and debated a reason, to come over here and to reach out in as manipulative a way as can be to people of varying mental states and levels of sadness and disillusionment, and convince them, weak as they are, that only through the deaths of others, of innocence, of lifespans, sometimes in years, sometimes in decades, most likely some over a century, they can be ended and thrown aside like it's nothing at personal gain in the next life. The one thing that is promised that cannot be proven. You can't know what's coming in the next life until you get there. And if you're the type of person who it would ever become a good idea or a plausible thought or a reasonable course of action to murder at random as many people as you can that are identified in your ideology as worthy of death, then you were never one of us to begin with. You were never one of the normal population. Nothing can lead to such a break in humanity that you would throw aside your own and that of those around you. So, yes, crazy people have always been there, and this whole discussion on guns and the control thereof and the monitoring thereof of the people who purchase them through whatever means and use them in whatever means must continue to evolve, and evolve rapidly, not in having the same conversation over and over again and spitting back and forth between a few major groups that honestly probably work for the same people. That conversation has to happen here with me, here with you, by whatever means necessary. And those means happen to be easy. It's just I'll record them, you can record them. If you want to use Spreaker, you can. Get them on YouTube, get on social media, and say, we live in the year 2016, we can continue to produce military-grade firearms and explosives for use in conventional warfare between countries, killing people, and we can make personal weapons of either, personal sidearms or long arms that can be purchased commercially, personally, at enthusiast conventions and on the internet. And we can use them for the purposes of self-destruction, we can use them for protection, we can use them for sustenance, or we can use them for wanton violence, we can use them for war. What is the difference between what happened in Orlando and what has been happening on a much more massive scale across the sea in the countries that we are active in as a military? And I think the reason why we wouldn't want, and we don't have, I shouldn't say wouldn't want, because if it was done right, if I was able to control it, then it would be done right. The reason why you don't see troops on the streets here representing the nation where they come from and taking part in their community is because they're still soldiers in uniform and purvey a certain message and a line of thought. And that is military intervention. So if these troops would be better used here at home in preventing by offering pretty much a government-paid and administrated security service in the cities where these volunteers come from, for them to work a few years in their city and then work abroad on deployments of interacting with other cultures, educating ourselves, or should I say themselves now because I'm no longer in the Navy, amongst other cultures, and bringing the knowledge of what life is like for other people, other Americans, because that's the only thing you'll see them as. Free, open-minded, able human beings in the year 2016 who just exist in other countries. And the concept of countries and lines on maps is so arbitrary because, as I've said before, you can't look or sound like an American, because an American is by definition the people that have come at whatever generation of one's family, be it the first or the umpteenth, entering this country for a chance at freedom from oppression, freedom from military strife, freedom from being held down in expressing oneself creatively or on one's thesis about our origins and our purpose. My stomach's growling. That means it's time to stop. 8 minutes is long enough. If I haven't made any sense to you, don't watch any of my other stuff. If I haven't said one word that has impacted you in a way that has made you say, yes, that's obvious, or I have thus far in life not viewed things that way, but that might make sense if I continue to delve into that part of myself. If none of those things happen to you, then just get out now, because none of this shit's going to be safe for you.